Cobh in Cork. It was cool, you know, it's a small town. It was a nice place, you know. I feel like if I didn't grow up there, I wouldn't be here today, you know. I feel like where you grow up makes you who you are.
Cobh made you a fighter?
Cobh is known for fighting. It's a fighting town.
Fighting street or fighting in the ring?
Both. You know, street fighting, fighting in the ring, you know, it's part of life.
When did you know you were good with your hands?
Well, I started boxing when I was 6. And I loved it.
For Callum Walsh, boxing was always a part of him. He never needed a reason to fight.
When I was 15, I won my first national title. I won 6 in total, and then I went to the European Championships. I won the European gold medal. I remember being in school. You know, I had no book, no pen, no interest in being there. You know, I was just sitting there, and the teacher looked at me and was like, "Why are you here? What are you doing?" I remember I told him, "I'm gonna box for the rest of my life." I got kicked out of school.
Kicked out of school, why?
Fighting. You know, I was working on the fishing boat. I was working 7 days a week, so I could afford a car to drive myself to the gym. I wanted to go to the Olympics.
But in 2020, those games were postponed indefinitely.
The pandemic had just hit in Ireland. Everything closed down. The gyms closed. I couldn't train. Then I discovered drinking. Me and my friends would go out drinking every weekend. We would fight, you know, to get arrested every weekend. It was stupid, you know. I would just get arrested for being drunk and fighting and stuff. I was going down the wrong path, you know, so I tried to get back on the right one. And I remember saying, like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to America, you know, I'm gonna figure this out."
Soon enough, Walsh arrived on a tourist visa, saying he was visiting his father, now living in Riverside, California. His real destination, however, was the Wildcard gym in Hollywood, run by Hall of Fame trainer Freddie Roach.
Just told him I'm here to train. And Freddie was like, "Oh, so you want to train? Yeah, well, it's Wednesday, like it's sparring day, so get your stuff." And I was like, "All right." I was nervous, you know, sparring in front of Freddie, you know. Never had sparred in like a gym like that before, you know.
Freddie came up to me and said, "We got a special Irishman downstairs." And Freddie doesn't talk special about many people, so he came downstairs and you could hear him on the bag before he even entered the door. He just had something different about him.
Must have been good enough, you know, for Freddie to look at me and say, "All right, come back tomorrow."
There he is, the 21-year-old undefeated Callum Walsh.
Before long, his Olympic ambitions had given way to professional ones.
I made my pro debut 2021. Now all of a sudden I'm meeting Dana White, someone that would never have even crossed my mind that would come into my career, you know.
He might have been a kid from Cobh, but he was generating that sacred American commodity, buzz. Still the king! And it led him to the very last thing he was looking for.
The first day, it was after his fight. And then we went to a sushi place in Hollywood, just me and him. I think he never had a raw fish before. I think after a couple times that we were dating, you know, just feel, I think, like his soul, and then the way he would treat me, the way he accept me the way I am. I fell in love with the way that he was looking at me and the way that he was accepting the person that I am.
Tabitha Ricci isn't your average girlfriend. A Brazilian martial artist known as the Baby Shark, she's the 8th-ranked strawweight in the UFC.
Keep your hands up with your chin down and use your speed.
Tabitha!
The way that she understands my life makes it a lot easier. He's like this because it'll rain. Take that. You know, that's probably why I didn't have any other girlfriends, because I'm thinking about this guy for the last 2 months that I'm about to fight, you know, and having someone that understands what you're going through physically and mentally. These are our baby chicks. We've had them since they were like that size.
So tiny. Now they're big girls.
We bought this house 4 months ago. A nice bit of land, you know, a nice bit of animals. I think it's, you know, it kind of balances out the lifestyle, because, you know, a lot of people, I think they get the wrong idea. You know, they start getting a bit known, they start making some money, and they start buying cars and watches, and it gets to their head, you know. And I feel like the farm, you know, brings you back to reality, you know, it makes you realize, like, you have to get up in the morning and go and feed a bunch of animals and go and do real things, you know, and, like, yeah, it reminds me of the reality of life.
The reality is he's 15-0 and fighting a seasoned Mexican middleweight, Carlos Ocampo, to kick off the inaugural Zuffa Boxing card, January 23rd at Meta Apex Arena in Las Vegas.
I don't get scared when I fight, but when he fights, I get scared. Because he's the love of my life, and then he think if he lose, he's done. I don't think so, but like in his mind, like he does have that pressure.
It's not just a life they've built, but at long last a reason. For Callum Walsh, it's something worth fighting for.
I'm happy with what I have, obviously, but I always want more. I have 2 things missing in my life. I want the world title and 100 acres of land. That'll do me.